Hey there, everybody. My name is Amanda, and I'm a park interpretive specialist here at the California State Railroad Museum. Right now, I'm standing in front of the Gold Coast private rail car. And when this rail car was running, it was the peak of on-rail luxury, a little bit like a private jet today. It was owned by two men named Lucius Beebe and Charles Clegg. Now today, Lucius Beebe and Charles Clegg are mostly known for their railroad photography. But back when they were alive, they were celebrities. They were well known for how they dressed, even how they ate. They were very famous men. But they were also two men in a loving, committed relationship in a time when it was not yet accepted by society to be a member of the LGBTQ community. Here at State Parks, we think it's very important to highlight the lives and achievements of members of the LGBTQ community. So today we're going to be taking a look at Lucius Beebe and Charles Clegg, their life, their accomplishments, and this rail car that they called home. To start us out, we're going to hear from one of our museum docents, Olga, who's going to tell you a little bit about their lives.
Welcome to the lifestyles of the rich and the famous. Have you ever wanted to know how the other half lives? Well, we literally can go inside and take a peek and see how two famous people, two famous men, made this private and opulent rail car their home. Who were these men? Why did they buy the rail car? And why should we care about them? Hello, my name is Olga Rosander. I'm a docent at California State Railroad Museum, class number 68. Let's go take a look. So, who was Lucius Beebe and what made him rich and famous? There's no one term to describe him. A railroad, an Old West historian, a gourmand of fine food, a photographer, a syndicated columnist, an author, and a self-acknowledged dandy. Beebe came from old money. His family was in the mercantile and banking business. He was born December 9, 1902 in Wakefield, Massachusetts. He grew up privileged. In his early years, he went to numerous prep schools because he was a prankster and he kept getting into trouble, so he moved from school to school. Well, Beebe continued his troubled ways when he entered Yale and Harvard. He had a roulette wheel and a full stocked bar in his dorm room. It was his custom Monday mornings, his classmates say, that he would come in his evening attire with a monocle in his eye and a gold-top cane to start class with. Well, Beebe got into even worse antics that the presidents of the university could not put up with, and he was invited to leave. He barely got his undergraduate degree from Harvard and went on to work in New York for various newspapers, but he ended up writing for the New York Herald Tribune as a reporter in 1929. Beebe loved parties. He knew all the right people. He knew the clubs. He knew the latest mixed drinks. And he knew all the right maitre d's so that he could grease their palms. There is a story as a cub reporter of him showing up at Top Hat and Tails to an early morning building fire. It was then that his editor felt like he was more suited to the society page. Today, we might call Lucius Beebe online influencers, like the Kardashians. He reported on the rich, on the famous, and the best of everything. He coined the phrase cafe society. His writings were so popular that 1.5 million Depression-era readers wanted to know the latest gossip about what the rich and famous were doing. Beebe also coined the phrase partner, in a term to describe a gay couple in a committed relationship. In New York, Beebe lived openly among his peers, but he shut down nosy people and reporters with a go to hell. So enter Charles Clegg, Chuck. In 1940, Clegg met Beebe as a house guest in Washington, D.C. of the fabulously wealthy Evelyn Walsh McLean. She was the heiress of the Nevada gold mines. Think the Hope Diamond. They learned about each other and learned that they had common interests about railroading when they were young boys, photography. They loved fine clothes, excellent food, and good wines, and they loved each other. They became inseparable and committed to a partnership both personally and professionally till the rest of their lives. Charles, he was born June 29th, 1916 in Youngstown, Ohio, but raised in Rhode Island to a middle-class family. On December 7th, 1941, Pearl Harbor. Beebe and Clegg were in San Francisco. The patriotic Charles Clegg joined the Navy on the spot. During his time in service, Clegg was not immune to the discrimination against gay soldiers, and he was dishonorably discharged in 1944. So let's find out, why did they buy this rail car? That's what we'll learn next. In 1950, the couple was growing tired of New York. They were enchanted with their past travels out west to Virginia City, Nevada, and so they moved there. They bought 3 things to fulfill their dreams of entertaining, continuing their writing, and to travel in style. They bought the Edward Piper Mansion right behind the Piper Opera House. They bought the old defunct Territorial Enterprise newspaper in Virginia City and revitalized it. They became the editor and the publisher. But most important in our eyes, they bought the Gold Coast rail car. Let's go take a look. Beebe and Clegg bought this original 1905 Pullman officer's car from Georgia Northern Railroad in 1948 and christened it the Gold Coast. They wrote 3 books while living aboard it during the summers of 1948 through 1950 in the Virginia and Truckee rail yard. They also made personal excursions in the car to the Bay Area and back, and aboard this beautiful mansion on rails. Well, when they bought this car, it was not up to their taste. Their friend, Hollywood designer Robert Hanley, gave it the best of everything. They spent big bucks to bring it up to their standards. They wanted it designed after Leland Stanford in more of a Victorian style. Leland Stanford had a beautiful private car, and they liked that. Outfitted with rare antiques, as you see, with chandeliers and a faux marble fireplace. They also had modern conveniences like a gas stove, a very large wine and food storage. The car sleeps 7 and also 2 crew members. It has 2 staterooms, a fine dining room, and a mahogany writing desk used to accomplish their work. They sometimes live in the rail car at the Virginia Truckee rail yards, and when they wanted to travel, they would call the railroad of their choice to hook it up, and away they'd go to fulfill their wanderlust. This car, as you've seen from the outside, is made of wood. After a few years of traveling, Beebe and Clegg found that rail officials didn't want to hook up the car because of fire safety issues and it being made of wood. So what do rich people do? They buy another private rail car, a metal one, and christen it the Virginia City. If you could imagine smells of filet mignon, escargot, fine wines were served to people like the Nevada governor, British royals, and even their Nevada neighbors. One of Beebe's quotes, "If anything is worth doing, it's worth doing in style." Another important family member was Beebe and Clegg's baby, 150-pound T-bone Towser, a great big St. Bernard. He was their constant companion. Can you imagine a dog of that size in this space? The townspeople of Virginia City knew if T-Bone's dads were in a restaurant or in a bar, because T-Bone would be holding court on the sidewalk, drooling and shaking paws of his admirers. I just love that story. So why should we care about these privileged men, and why are they so important to our museum experience? I would propose to you that they're a family. Their personal and professional partnership lasted from 1940 to 1966 until Beebe's death of a sudden heart attack at the age of 63. Beebe's ashes were mixed with T-Bone Towser I and T-Bone Towser II and interred in Wakefield, Massachusetts. It is not a coincidence that Clegg sadly committed suicide, having reached the exact same age as Beebe had. We should talk about these two giants in railroading history, and their innovative train photography, introducing the pie wedge and the three-quarter view techniques used in train photography even to this day, and them documenting thousands of American railroads and related subjects. We should remember that they re-energized modern America's interest in railroading through their books. Their romantic look at railroad travels from the 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s. They matter most because, in my mind, they worked hard. Ah, yes, they were lavish, they spent money, they lived large, and some would even say they were snobbish, but their body of work is undeniable. They contributed many articles to numerous magazines. Their photography has been featured in our museum and galleries and photo clubs, rail photo clubs from around the world. Beebe wrote over 40 books, half of which Clegg co-authored or contributed photography. And our museum houses over 13,000 of their images from their estate. So let's celebrate their dedication to the railroad history. Let's talk about their unique stories of these one-percenters, Beebe and Clegg. And even more, let's talk about this rare private rail car, our Gold Coast, which is the jewel in our museum.
All right, thanks, Olga. Now we're gonna go ahead and take a look inside. Let's go. All right, here's our first room. Oh, honestly, guys, I'm a little bit confused. This looks really, really small and cramped. I was told this was gonna be a really fancy rail car. Maybe I'm in the wrong one. Oh my gosh, look, the toilet's right next to the table. Okay, I'm a little bit confused. But I'm just gonna move on. Let's see what else they've got. Maybe it's just a fluke. Let's go ahead and see. Oh, it's Jake!
Hello!
Hey, Jake!
Hi, Amanda, how you doing?
I'm good, but I'm kind of confused. Do you know why that room next door is so small?
Yes, so that is the servant area, the staff area, the people that worked for here, not the people like Lucius Beebe and Charles Clegg that lived here. And this would be what they would be working in. This is a fully functioning kitchen right inside a private rail car. There's a whole bunch of really good stuff here. You can see a fully functioning stove and oven.
Cool.
You could cook all kinds of things there. You had your sink, you had plumbing inside this train car so you could wash your dishes and get a whole bunch of different things prepared. There's a couple other cool things to show you as well. Canned mustard. I've never seen canned mustard before.
I don't think I have either.
So the next time you're at your cookout this summer, just be very thankful you have one of those nice bottles instead of a can, because that seems a little bit more difficult to use.
Yeah.
Also a donut maker.
Oh, wow.
I think that would be my favorite part of this car. I just love donuts so much, and I'm sure many of you do as well. But if you're more of a cold treat type person, there's also a sherbet mix right here.
Ooh,
so a little
yum.
something for everybody. But this job wasn't all fun and games. You could make some cool things like donuts and sherbets, but it would have been a little difficult. So working in any kitchen can be difficult sometimes, but it's especially difficult on a train because it's moving, the platform's jiggling the whole time. You would certainly have your hands full.
All right, well, thanks,
Hopefully
Jake.
they did better than I just did.
All right, well, this was really, really cool, but I kind of came onto this train to see fancy, luxurious stuff, and this doesn't look super luxurious, so I'm gonna go move on. But
All right.
I'll see you later.
See you later.
All right, let's go see what's in here. Oh, hey, Alex.
How you doing?
Great. So what's this?
This is the beautiful dining room. You can
Wow.
look at it, it's already filled out perfectly with chandeliers and sparkling silverware and beautiful fine china.
Wow.
Can you imagine what kind of foods you'd want to eat in here?
Yeah. Wow, I just love imagining all kinds of fancy parties and dinners they must have hosted in here. Oh, wow, it must have been delicious. Yeah.
Imagine the feasts.
Imagine the feasts. But I don't know about you, Alex, but after a big dinner, I could really use a nap. So I'm gonna go check out the bedroom. I wanna go ahead and see what that's like. I wonder if it's pretty big and comfortable. Let's go see. All right, this here is the bedroom, and hey, it doesn't look too bad at all. It looks really comfortable. They've got nice pillows, a nice big full bed, and there's tons of storage space. I mean, just look at this. They've got a little bedside table. They've got some shutters for a little bit of privacy from the hallway. And look, there's this big cupboard. Look at that. And it looks like there's a little closet over here too. And you know, Lucius Beebe was a very, very fashionable man. He was known for how well dressed he was. So I bet that he would keep a lot of his fancy clothes right here in this dresser. And that explains why he needed so much space for it. All right, and I want to go check out this attached bathroom. It looks pretty nice. Oh, there's me in the mirror. Hey guys. This looks like a really nice bathroom. They've got these fancy clean towels. They got a nice sink. It looks like you could get some fresh water right here. Oh, I want to go check out their medicine cabinet. It looks like they have some pretty familiar brand names. Listerine, maybe you guys are familiar with that. And Colgate. It looks like back then they would use tooth powder instead of toothpaste. I'm pretty glad we get to use toothpaste today because tooth powder doesn't sound too yummy. They also have these embroidered towels. Wow. And a fancy knitted toilet cover. This is a nice bathroom. And they even have a full-size shower. Oh, I think there might be someone inside.
Hey now, occupied.
Sorry, Jake. Didn't
So
think you'd
rude.
be in there.
Goodness, I just got off work at the kitchen.
Well, I'm gonna give you a little bit of privacy. Sorry about that. All right, guys, so now we've covered all of the essentials. We know where you would sleep, where you would eat, where you would use the restroom, all that stuff. But I want to see some of the fun stuff. What's fun about living in the Gold Coast? So let's go ahead and explore a little bit more. All right, let's go see what's down this hallway. Looks like there's a little room over here I can check out. Oh, hey, Alex.
Hey there. What's up, gamers? Well, this little room right here is right where Beebe and Clegg would play games. In modern terms, this would be called a gamer room.
That's so cool. I bet they would play games like Fortnite and Minecraft if they were alive today. You know what? I bet they would even have a virtual reality headset. That's how rich they were.
Pretty cool.
Pretty cool. And if you lived back then and you were a kid and you were on this train, you might play games like Go Fish, that kind of stuff. But it looks like this room is really small. It looks like we could only fit maybe 4 people in at a time. But what if you wanted to have a party that was bigger than that? What if you wanted to have all of your friends over? I think I'm gonna go check out the parlor. But thanks, Alex.
Yeah.
And here we go, the biggest, fanciest room of the train car, the parlor. Look at all this space, look at all this seating. You could have big parties and invite all of your friends, and I've invited a couple of my friends for the occasion. It'd be so fun to hang out in here. And you know what? My favorite part of the parlor is this fireplace right here. It was fully functional. Can you imagine having a fully functional fireplace on a private jet or in a mobile home? I don't think that's super common today. It'd be very, very cozy in the winter. And over here is their writing desk. Now remember guys, Beebe and Clegg were authors. That was most of what they did. So this is where they would work. Imagine having this as your office. You could be here writing your next new bestseller, and then if you get a little bored, you can look out the window and see the countryside passing by. Now that sounds really nice to me. Lucius Beebe and Charles Clegg were very famous when they were alive. Lucius Beebe was super well known for his writing, his sense of style, even the kind of food that he ate. He was so famous that they even wrote songs about him. So let's go ahead and listen to one of them. This song is called Mr. Beebe. Let's have a little dance party of our own.
Who knows Mr. Beebe sets the style in clothes, fancy cravats and those knocked out spats. Beebe's the man who knows. Mr. Beebe, dig the boutonniere. Mr. Beebe, booted front and rear. Harlem's alive to his dressed up jive. Beebe's the man who knows. Now I've heard them say clothes he throws away, all the clothes that they're wearing.